Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Tyler Ellison. I'm going to be channeling Ryo for you all today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and I'll bring him through. It is our species' highest joy and passion to interact with you all this day of your time and in this transmission, which we are titling The Magic of Gratitude, is all about learning how to navigate and shift through challenging circumstances, challenging situations through utilizing the power of gratitude. So we'll talk about it like this. When you feel as if you are stuck in some type of rut, when your life feels stagnant, when you feel blocked, oftentimes the reason for many of these things, energetically speaking, is because of some type of judgment that is being held about either the situation or about oneself. And judgment inherently is not a negative thing. However, judgment will create the idea of limitation. For example, you can judge something positively and you can judge something negatively. But once you have judged something, you have sort of pigeonholed it, you have defined it, and that definition creates a certain gradation of limitation. So, while judgment does have its uses in being able to really navigate the physical reality in a more primitive sense, being able to differentiate between a tiger, a predator, and a friend and family member, in your modern society, what you would consider to be judgment can at times become an obstacle. Judgment can at times become a type of self-imposed blockage that prevents you from really seeing the bigger picture. Because once you have judged something as negative, you have, in a sense, eliminated your ability to see how that thing could manifest in a positive way. You have limited your perception, so its ability to serve you in a positive way is then less perceivable to you. When you judge something in a positive way, the same thing takes effect, where you have limited your ability to perceive how that thing could serve you in potentially a negative way, because both positivity and negativity are a form of service, because both positive and negative experiences can nourish the soul, can grow the soul, and can give you experience, which is a type of spiritual nourishment. When someone is judging something positively, oftentimes they will see that thing with what you call rose-colored glasses. And while there is use in that, ultimately there may be dimensions to that thing which are not inherently positive, and the individual may miss those perceptions, and eventually what they'll find is the thing they were judging as absolutely positive is in fact not really so. And the same can be said for negative judgment, where when a person has judged something negatively, they only see it as a negative manifestation. And even though that thing may have the potential of serving them positively, they're unable to perceive that. However, as all of you have experienced in different ways, even the things that you have labeled as negative may appear to be negative at first. At a certain point, when you overcome that challenge, you end up finding that it did in fact serve you in some way, shape, or form, that there was some type of positive dimension to it that you were able to extract through overcoming that particular challenge. The reason we're emphasizing this so clearly and so, you could say, distinctly, is because while judgment may serve you, the way to perceive that will serve you the most is neutrally, because all things within your dualistic expression of reality will contain both positive and negative frequencies. All things will contain what you call that yin and yang. As you know, even the most positive of states can eventually reveal to you negative things. And in that sense, the polarity shifts, the polarity flips. Even the most negative things can reveal to you positive things. And in that instance, the polarity flips. When you're able to observe things neutrally, you hold space for both positive and negative, thus allowing for you to see the totality of that which is perceivable to you in the moment of that particular subject matter. So when you see things free of judgment, ultimately you are more empowered. Ultimately, you are more informed, and ultimately, you are more allowing of your higher guidance to reflect back to you whatever you need to see in that moment and to share with you the instructions, the intuitions, and the forms of guidance that allow for you to form an appropriate and beneficial relationship to that particular subject. So when you see things free of judgment, you are seeing things as Source sees things. Because Source recognizes the dualistic dimension of all of its creations, because Source is the only level of existence where there is no duality. There is only the one. Anything other than that, even the dimensions of Source that are aware of itself, will express the idea of some type of duality. For example, the dimension of Source, the dimension of the one that is aware of itself, is what you call the two. And this dimension of Source, which is aware of itself, can be divided into two portions. There is the idea of the yin portion to it and the yang portion to it. And these two, yin and yang dimensions, interact with one another, and that's what gives rise to the myriad of realities and manifestation that Source creates. So the one is the only level where there is no experience, and because of that, there is no duality. And when you see things neutrally, when you see things free of judgment, you're aligning with that particular level of Source. And when you're able to align with that level of Source, you're able to look down onto the myriad of creations that you're giving rise to. And that allows for you to see both the positive, negative, yin and yang dimensions of them clearly, just as Source is able to do when it looks into itself and sees the myriad of realities that it's engendering. So one of the ways that you can really expand your perspective, and through expanding your perspective, overcome challenges and what you would call blockages or obstacles, is through embodying the power of gratitude. As we have said, both positive and negative things are capable of serving you because they grant you experience, and that is what causes you to evolve. That is what causes you to grow and expand yourself. Therefore, there is an inherent generosity present in both positive and negative experiences. Both are giving you a gift. Both are giving you something of value. So when you tune in to the frequency of gratitude, you are actually tuning into your natural state. You are tuning in to the foundational dimension that is present inherently within all experiences. Because when you choose to experience life from a state of gratitude, you are acknowledging that both positive and negative things can serve you. And that allows for you to extract the highest level of benefit, the highest level of value from those things. When things are, let's just say, judged either positively or negatively, that sense of gratitude may not be there fully. And what we mean by this is, if you only accept the positive and are only grateful for this, and you judge the negative and you reject it, you are not in a complete state of gratitude. You're in a type of state that we would translate as conditional gratitude, which means you're really only half alive. You are really only turning on half of your consciousness. You are activating only half of yourself. However, when you choose to remain grateful, whether you're experiencing a positive thing or a negative thing, you have activated all of yourself, because that neutral center point is what allows for you to have the 360-degree point of view that includes all experiences. It doesn't shun them. It doesn't push them away. It doesn't value one and devalue the other. It allows them to be, and that allows for you to receive the higher wisdom and the positive energy that you can then use to navigate those experiences of positivity and negativity in a way that will ultimately serve you the most. When you face a negative challenge and you go into a state of gratitude, you are actually shifting the energy of that negative theme that's being explored. And in that moment, it is no longer a purely negative theme. When you have chosen to become grateful for that theme, you are activating your awareness of positivity in the face of the negative theme, which allows for you to see how that theme may actually serve you, how it may benefit you, and how you can use it in an uplifting way. So what we would advise is, if you are dealing with what feels like some type of psychic block or emotional block or mental block, experiment for a little bit with practicing gratitude for those things that you're feeling, for those things that you're experiencing. And when we say become grateful for these things, we're not attempting to invalidate the challenge or the pain or the suffering that may be connected to those things. We understand that those things are there. We understand that suffering does not feel good for many of you. We understand that pain does not feel good for many of you. However, when you begin to become grateful for those things, which perhaps are engendering suffering and or pain, what ends up happening is you are disentangling yourself from the identity of the one who suffers. You are disentangling yourself from the identity of the one whom is in pain. And through that disentanglement, space is then made available within your consciousness. And because you're using gratitude, you are flavoring that newly created space with positivity, which then allows for you to draw in positive realizations, positive experiences, and positive decisions that will ultimately allow for you to learn more about yourself. When you exist within this state of gratitude, negativity cannot really touch you. You'll still experience it. You may still feel it emotionally. You may still experience it mentally, but you will not be entangled with it. Rather, what you'll find is it passes through you. Just as the sun will descend below the horizon line, yet rises again in the morning, your experiences of negativity will take on the same quality. The negativity represents the idea of, in that sense, in this metaphor, the sunset. And as you remain in the state of gratitude, the sun will then rise again. You will experience the idea of novelty, and that novelty will contain within it positive realizations, positive insights, and energies of empowerment. Gratitude in that way is one of the ultimate antidotes for any type of blockage, for any type of restriction, for any type of limitation that you may be experiencing. The gratitude also will enable you to attract into your life abundance. Because when one remains grateful, as we had mentioned before, it implies that they are in a state of reception. It implies that they are in a state of allowing. So through training yourself to perpetually exist in this state of gratitude, what you will find is new experiences, and perhaps experiences that you have been calling for, will begin to manifest, will begin to show up for you. In that sense, you could say gratitude practice is one of the highest levels of spiritual practices. And it is like a muscle, because at first you may attempt this and you may say, I don't know how I could be grateful for this thing. This thing has only caused me pain. This thing has only caused me torment. I really don't see how this thing could benefit me. And we understand that for many of you, this practice may at first be incredibly challenging because of those types of perspectives. So what we'd advise is practice gratitude first with the little things. The first thing to become grateful for is that you exist, you're here. That's the baseline one. Remember this one as often as you can. In addition to this, become grateful for the fact that you are alive in a body, because the human life, the human body, creates many possible dimensions of experience that are made available to you that would not be available to you if you were not in a human body. There are many perks, you could say, to this type of incarnational experience that you call being human that are not available for spirits, that are not available for astral beings, mental beings, etheric beings. The types of experiences they have are not like yours. You're able to really experience all types of diverse things, and you can grow yourself in many magical ways that are not available on those levels. So the second thing to be grateful for is that you are alive and you are here in this body. The next thing we would advise remaining grateful for is the idea of the functioning of your body. For example, your heart is doing its job. Your heart is beating. Your heart is assisting you in maintaining life. Your lungs are breathing. Your lungs are taking in oxygen and are releasing CO2. They are performing their jobs for you to assist you in remaining vital. This is the third thing we would advise activating gratitude for. These three things, when you begin to become aware of them, will help you to establish a baseline level of gratitude. And from here, you can expand that out. For example, if you have a bed, you can become grateful that you simply have a bed to sleep in. If you have running water, you can become grateful for the fact that you have running water. If you have access to healthy foods, you can become grateful for the fact that you have access to healthy foods. If you have a healthy relationship with someone, you can become grateful for that relationship. So practice gratitude with the things that are more immediate to you, with the things that are easier for you to become grateful for. And as you start to value these things with gratitude, your gratitude power will increase and grow. So you can then apply that to situations that are more challenging, to situations that perhaps present to you as difficulty. You can start to become grateful for those things, for becoming grateful for those baseline things. In addition to this, you can also practice gratitude for the things in your life that are inherently, you could say, positive that you're experiencing, the things that are incredibly uplifting for you. You can become grateful for these things as well. So practice gratitude with both things that are positive, things that are more neutral, and that will prepare you for remaining in the gratitude state when you are experiencing things that are perhaps more negative. And this will build as a momentum until it reaches a point where you are permanently in this gratitude state. Once you're in the gratitude state, continue the practice, because that will simply strengthen the state. Because many of you know, you may achieve a certain state of being, but if it is not maintained, it begins to fade away a little bit. So practice the gratitude each and every single day. And what you'll find is all types of insights, all types of ideas, all types of ways of exploring your reality that serve you in a very uplifting manner will present themselves. And you will be able to thrive in your life in both positive ways, and when you're experiencing negative themes, you'll be able to thrive in those situations with great ease. So we thank you all for your attention in this transmission. And as always, our species' unconditional love and appreciation to you and to all members of your human family. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to sign off, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.